Okay, the Duskblade mod for Baldur's Gate 3 just got updated and it's got a bunch of new features as well as a new subclass. So we are going to go over, I'm going to just show you all the new changes and link you to my build guides I've done for it because they're kind of the same, but you're going to see that each subclass is now a bit more guided. So we'll start with this Duskblade, and as you can see, we have things such as Arcane Channeling, which means when you're using a one-handed or versatile melee weapon, you can channel Arcane Power to enhance your weapon, dealing an additional 1d4 force damage. And we get Armored Mage, meaning specialized training allows you to channel Arcane Power while not wearing heavy armor or using a shield. This means you can add half your intelligence modifier rounded up to your armor class, which means if you're using, say, your intelligence is at 20, which would be a +5, half it, 2.5, rounded up to 3. So you can get a solid +3 to your AC, and if you've got good dex as well, you can really boost that AC quite high. Now, I'm not going to go through all the spells and stuff, that's going to be for you to check out, we can check out my other build guides. I'm just going to go through each subclass and their features so you can see how they're different. Okay, so the Duskblade at level 2 has combat casting now. You're adept at casting spells in combat, you have advantage on saving throws to maintain concentration on a spell. This is huge, this is a great level 2 ability, because it means you can really buff up your concentration, you can concentrate better on things like haste or hold person, that sort of fun stuff. Really, really nice way, especially if you have a big AC, or if you can boost your constitution even higher. It's a great way, early game and late game, great little skill. Okay, so when we get to level 3, we get to pick our specialization. And as you can see, there was 3, there's now 4. Spellknight has been added. Now I'm not going to go over this one in this video, I'm going to be doing this in a build tonight, so check that out, usual time. So, let's go over the spell shield first. We gain arcane resistance. This isn't a change, this is the same as before. Basically, you can add half your intelligence modifier, much like what you do to your AC, to your saving throws against spells. Now the spell shield at level 5 gains an extra attack, this is the same as before, really nice feature. But we also now have quick cast. So you've infused the fusion of arcane power and martial techniques. After you cast a spell, you can make a free weapon attack. Really nice ability as well, meaning you can throw up something defensive like a mirror image and still get an attack off afterwards. What's really key about this is that the spell shield, as we go through this you'll see, very much designed to be a sword and board type build, meaning you can still be super defensive, boost your defense up even more, and then still swing with your sword. Okay, so at level 6 we gain spell power. Now, this basically means we can channel our arcane power to overcome magic defenses. So, any opponent that we hit with a melee weapon attack will then have disadvantage on saving throws against spells before the end of your next turn. Meaning on turn 1, you could hit someone, and then until the end of your second turn, they will have disadvantage on saving throws. So it's a really nice way if you have a spell you want to land, being able to set it up. This is the same as before, but with the update, it makes it a bit easier to understand. And when you get to level 7 with the spell shield, this is what I was talking about. Armored Mage, shield. Your specialized training allows you to channel arcane power while using a shield. So you can see this is really designed to be a defensive based subclass. And what I think is when it comes to actually picking the spell shield in the Duskblade mod, this does feel the most sort of traditional RPG tank-like build. Obviously in Baldur's Gate it's kind of hard to have aggro on certain people. There's not like a... For example, I think of like Dragon Age Origins, and your warriors could taunt and they'd instantly pull aggro. Baldur's Gate 3 doesn't quite have that same thing. It's hard to really tank a battlefield, but I think as far as it goes to being that tank, this is probably the closest you get to it with this subclass. At level 10, the spell shield gets Arcane Aura. So when you cast a level 1 or higher spell, you can channel arcane power to form a protective aura around you. The damage you take is reduced by your intelligence modifier. Once again, just going back to that, this is very much a tanking support-esque build. It's not going to be the biggest damage dealer, you can deal a lot of damage, but it is designed to really be the meat shield on the battlefield, just absorb those big hits, you know, stand your ground in the middle, try and like make those choke points, whether it's on like staircases, that sort of stuff. Arcane Penetration is what we get at level 11. Your understanding of arcane channeling allows you your spells and attacks to ignore resistance to force damage, which is really good. It means we're not going to take a penalty for having our innate class features. And then that brings you to level 12, which is obviously the final level if you're not taking it to level 20. And as you can see, there's no benefits here. So let's go dip over to the next subclass. This brings us to the Spellblade. Arcane Accuracy. Your attunement with magic gives you an edge in combat. You add half your intelligence modifier, rounded up to weapon attack rolls. As you can see, this is already set up to be more of a DPS build, as opposed to the spell shield. Okay, level 5 brings you extra attack, and quick cast, much like the spell shield. These things are still innately the same. Level 6, once again, brings you spell power. We had this before. When you hit an opponent with a melee weapon attack, disadvantage on saving throws against spells you cast at the end of your next turn. Now number 7, or level 7, is where we get improved critical. The number you need to roll a critical hit while attacking with a weapon is reduced by 1. This effect can stack. So what we're seeing here is that, again, much like the spell shield, which at this point we got to use our arcane aura with a shield, this improved critical, bigger chance at DPS. Pair this with items such as like the Dead Shot and like Savrup's Horned Helm and all the other fun stuff you can get, and you can bump that critical number all the way down to, I think the maximum someone's got it is like 12 or 13 before. But really, you can start really pumping out criticals with this build. Level 10 brings you Arcane Strike. So when you cast a level 1 or higher level spell, you can channel additional arcane power to further enhance your melee weapon attacks. Until your next turn, you gain a bonus to melee weapon attack rolls equal to the spell level, and your melee weapon attacks deal an additional 1 to 4 force damage per spell level. Which is awesome, because if you cast a level 3 spell, you can be dealing a lot of damage afterwards. Really, really good spell to use. Or ability, I should say. Duskblade level 11 gives you arcane penetration, much like before, which is the resistance to force damage. And then finally, level 12, no bonus features again. So let's dip over to the final subclass we're checking out in this video. And that would be the Spell Soul. Arcane Attunement. You're a spellcasting prodigy. You add half your intelligence modifier to spell attack rolls and spell save DC. Instantly showing you that this is more of a wizard-esque spellcasting type subclass for the build. Which means you could really benefit from your class or your first level class feature, where you get to add your half your intelligence modifier rounded up to your AC. So bear that in mind. If you want to go for a spellcaster, Spell Soul is the way forward. Level 5 brings you extra attack and quick cast. Obviously we've seen this with the other two subclasses. You know what you're getting at this point. Free weapon attack after a spell, and an extra attack if you want to do 2. Level 6, once again we get the spell power, so enemies, if we hit them, have disadvantage on saving throws against spells you cast before the end of your next turn. There is a weird thing with this where, in terms of if you are a spellcaster and you want to go like, I don't know, light or medium armor, and maybe just like a scimitar or something, and you want to be a full caster, or you want to dual wield, and you could do like a staff and a scimitar, you could, you know, cast a spell, and then thanks to your quick casting, you could smack them with your scimitar afterwards, and then on your next turn, if you wanted to land like a hold person, you have the option. You've still used your innate spellcasting, which you've got a big bonus to. You've used your class ability, where you can attack afterwards, and then you've also used your class ability with spell power for on your next turn. They have disadvantage on a saving throw against one of your spells. So it's a really good way you could very much negate or really hinder an enemy if you plan out your turn quite methodically. Okay, Duskblade level 7, improved spell critical. The number you need to roll a critical hit while attacking with a spell is reduced by 1, and this can stack. So, what this means is, whereas we saw previously, improved critical was with melee attacks or ranged, and with the first one we got the arcane aura on our shield, now our spells can actually deal more. So this is very much designed to be a spellcasting type subclass, like I said. Theoretically though, you could work this to work much like with this setup I've got here, and be a frontliner but have increased spells. I just feel like it does work better as more of like a wizard-esque kind of thing, or maybe like a multi-class, like a fighter, spell, soul type thing. That could be a fun combination. But as you can notice throughout much of this, every single subclass within this mod, for the class itself, are all very different, and I think that's awesome. A lot of mods kind of are very similar and just have like a different little bit of flavour. So you might have like a flame version, a frost version, a poison version. Whereas with this mod and the separate subclasses, each one is designed for a different type of playthrough or play style, I guess. And I think that's awesome, to be honest. I think that makes this mod so, so good. Okay, Duskblade level 10, Arcane Edge. You specialise in dealing damage with spells. You can add your intelligence modifier to damage you deal with cantrips and level 1 spells. Meaning even if you use your high level spells, your cantrips are still going to do a little bit extra damage now, which is incredible. Level 11 brings you Arcane Penetration again, obviously the resistance to force damage. And then finally, level 12 brings you your final level, and no new class features, much like the others. So we are going to do the Spell Knight tonight, so look out for that build like I said. But overall, this mod has been updated, and I liked it before, but I think it's incredible now. I think there's so many good like multi-class options and all that sort of fun stuff. So that's definitely something we are going to dip into and check out. So I really hope you have enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoyed our look at the improved mod. If you want more of these videos where I go over mods that have been changed slightly or updated, so they've got new features or are more balanced, anything like that, then let me know in the comments. I will happily add that to the repertoire. But for now, I really do hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please like it, helps me amazingly. If you're new and you haven't subscribed but would like to, that would also be amazing. I have other build guides for Baldur's Gate, obviously. I've got Dragon Age the Veilguard, Path of Exile 2, playthroughs for a bunch of videos, or games I should say. Currently streaming God of War once I've gotten over this cold because it's slowly killing me. But alas, I really genuinely do hope you have enjoyed this, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.